Hi, I'm Jerry Damon. We have a really special guest with us in the studio today, an internationally renowned public speaker, Ted Corcoran.
That's who I am.
Thanks
Ted
for joining us,
Corcoran.
Ted. You started back in 1985.
Yes.
Joined the Toastmasters Club. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Well, I had made a bit of a boomer at a dinner, and I decided I needed to smarten up in my public speaking. So I went along to join a club, and at the interval, I was asked a new club, and I was asked, "We'd like you to be the president," and I said yes. And ever since then, I've said
You
yes.
moved up.
I've said yes every time. I've never said no.
How has it improved your speaking skills?
Oh, hugely. I've learned how to organise my thoughts with a clear purpose and have a message and illustrate it with stories and some wit and humour at times.
That
yes.
really is important. Isn't
Yes,
it
it is hugely important. Yes, it relaxes the audience. Also relaxes you.
Right.
So yes. So I've been at it since then. Yes.
Now, people say that fear of public speaking is the number one fear next to death.
Yes, because nobody expects to die immediately, but you might have to do
Right.
a speech in 5 minutes.
So how do we get over this fear?
Practice, and to learn the methods for speaking, so that you're not nervous anymore. You're confident. You have a message. You have a clear purpose, and you have delivered it before. It's like everything else that you do. You have practiced doing this business,
Right.
So you're not nervous. Except I see your knees are shaking. You know, I had lunch with a lady who worked for Robert Kennedy once.
Really?
Yes, and I was saying to her, you know, I've always admired him as a public speaker. She said, well, I used to sit at the side and his knees would be shaking.
Is that a fact?
Yes. So when somebody as famous as that can start to be nervous,
Right.
then everybody else is.
Enthusiasm makes the difference.
Yes. If you are not enthusiastic about your message, then you can't expect your audience to be.
For those people watching this right now and they'd like to be a public speaker, but they don't have the confidence to do it right now,
Mhm.
Ted, what message of hope can you share from all the years of speaking that you have done?
Join the Toastmasters Club and
the
practice.
simple- That's right.
And there is no doubt. There's no doubt that nobody will become a competent public speaker without practice. It's a bit like being a footballer or a basketball player. You're not going to be Stephen Curry straight off.
Right,
You're going to
right.
have to practice, and this is where you can practice. But the great thing about Toastmasters, you never do wrong. Everybody lifts you up. Everybody
Right.
says,
It's all positive.
this is what you did well, and here's an idea how you can be better. And you find after a while that you can do it.
Yeah, a good public speaker speaks from the heart.
Yes.
Right? That's the really the
Yes.
key element.
Yes, from the heart, with emotion. With emotion. If you look at the famous speakers in your country, Martin Luther King, I have a dream from the heart, inspiration. I was only saying today that in a very short space of time, he said, I have a dream, I believe we can do it, this is how we're going to do it, and this is what done looks like. So he encapsulated the essence of every speech. This is my vision, I know we can do it, we can believe it, this is how we'll do it, and this is what done looks like. Painting a picture of what done looks like is so important.
Rejection, though, plays a part in a lot of people. They're afraid to get up to speak
Mhm.
because they might fall on their face.
Yes, you asked me to sing, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me because I can't sing. I can sing, but everybody goes, so I don't sing. So I know exactly it's the fear of rejection, fear of making a mistake. In Toastmasters International, we have almost 400,000 members in
It's growing, too.
17,000 clubs. Nobody ever feels rejected. I was telling the story this morning about my friend Maura, who was a civil servant back home in Dublin. She spent 2 years coming to the Toastmasters meetings before she ever opened her mouth. She was so caught up.
Right.
And then she opened, and then she had a tremendous talent for speeches and for stories and for entertaining. She always had it, but was locked in. And it took her 2 whole years just to start. So don't think that you can go on the first evening and
Right.
bang, you're released. No, it could take a week, a couple of months,
Feel the fear
and do it anyway.
and do it anyway.
Yes, the title of a book by somebody.
Right. Susan Jefferson.
Susan,
wrote that
that's who
book,
it was
okay?
indeed, yes.
So at this point, if we want to give a speech, how do we write the speech
Hmm.
in 10 minutes?
Yes, we've just done it back down in Sanford. Well, funny enough, you start by deciding what it is you want to speak about. And then you decide what is your purpose. why am I telling these people this? What do I want to do? Inform them, persuade them, motivate them, inspire them, entertain them. But unless you have a destination in mind, you won't be able to write the speech.
You have to have purpose.
You have to have a purpose. And if you decide what it is you want, like I said this morning, we could write a speech about Mr. Sanford. So what am I going to do about Mr. Sanford? I'm going to tell you about him, who he was, what he did, why he did it. That's enough. 5 to 7 minutes.
How does social media affect public speaking, communication skills today in a positive or negative way?
Well, I'll start with the negative, which is people's spelling and grammar is so bad on social media, I just cringe. But on the other side, it allows people to communicate with their friends, etc., and keep connected. In human life, connection is everything.
We've lost that to a large extent.
Yeah, I grew up in the countryside in County Kerry, Ireland, and everybody was connected, and everybody knew each other. And there was a thing called the Mehel system, which was if I wanted to cut the corn and I needed 10 people to do it, they'd just turn up. No pay, no record of hours, but then we would go and help them with their corn. So by the end of the harvest, everybody's was done, which couldn't be done on their own, but
Sure.
it could be done together.
So what's it going to be like in 10 years from now?
Well, I'm a little concerned about the communication bit because you don't really communicate on social media. And they say you communicate, but it's in print or whatever. People's ability to communicate one-to-one is losing out, and particularly amongst the younger generation, because it's all
Right.
and the fact that they can't find time to actually have a chat with somebody without taking out their phone. Well, let me see, somebody's ringing me. Oh, no, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Well, you know what it is. It happens. It happens all the time. So yes, I'm a little concerned that the power, the essence of communication, which is just what you and I are doing here,
Right.
having a chat, and asking questions, I giving you answers, is fading out. But will work change as well? You see, in the future of work, will it be all instruments and laptops and computers and there will be very little social interaction? And what effect will that have on community life?
Right.
Over here, do the neighbours know each other? Do they help each other if they're in trouble? And the answer is in big cities that very seldom happens.
Right.
In the country, it still happens, of course.
A good speaker is successful
Yes.
in his or her work.
Yes. Yes. A good speaker has something to say, first of all, and knows how to say it.
After all these years of speaking, how do you find the energy to keep on doing it?
I was asked that question only an hour ago.
Okay?
I don't see what I do as a chore or a job. I see it as an opportunity to help other people, but also to grow myself and gain more experience. But I'm going to be down in the Memorial Hall tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I think it is, and I'm going to be doing a keynote speech. And it's
Great.
the title is Your Song Still Unsung? And it comes from the Indian poet Tagore, who wrote, I spend my days stringing and unstringing my instrument while the songs I came to sing remain unsung.
Right.
It's people having this potential but never using it. And the points I make is it doesn't matter where you start in life, it's where you finish. It doesn't matter what age you are when you start, and it doesn't matter how many times you have not succeeded, you can still do it.
Did you have any idea back in 1985, Ted, that you would become the international director of Toastmasters?
Not a notion. It was just like it was on Mars or wherever. But the key was that every time an opportunity came, I said yes. And I was always a little bit apprehensive because the next stage was more responsibility. Was I good enough? Could I meet the challenge? Would I make it? But I always did. And then I describe it as being in a room actually, and you're happy out, and then you become aware of a room next door. And there's a door slightly ajar, and it sounds exciting, but will I go in? Will I go in? Sometimes some friend or colleague gives you a little push,
Right.
and then you're in and you find you can do fine, and then and then another door opens.
Right.
And that's what I did. Even when I got very close to the top, I never thought I would actually be because because we all have what's the word? Certainly if you come from Ireland and you come to a big country like the United States of America, you feel, well, I can't be as good as those people. They have been president since 1924, how could I do it? And then you realise, yes, you are as good as everybody else if you put the effort in. And I finished up as being the first and only European.
Is that right?
In 90 years, actually 95 years this year, because I took one step at a time.
You spread a message of hope.
Yes, and a message of you can do it.
Usually.
You can do it. You can sing your song. You stop stringing your instrument and sing your song.
Ted, thank you for making a difference.
Thank you.
Worldwide.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much.
For I Love Life, I'm Jerry Damon.